Plymouth registering 2 degrees Celsius this morning, whilst Aberdeen sits at 5. Yes, you heard that correctly. The southwest is colder than northeast Scotland. Is your area about to be caught in this unusual weather pattern that's keeping the Met Office issuing warnings across 14 counties? Right now, over 6 million people across southwest England are dealing with saturated ground conditions, standing water on major routes, and the very real threat of localised flooding. In the next 90 seconds, I'll give you precise timing for London, Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, Cardiff, and Belfast. But first, drop your location in the comments right now, because tomorrow's forecast will include personalised updates for the areas you've told me about. London, expect rain to clear by Wednesday morning with temperatures climbing to 8 degrees. Manchester, you are looking at that messy mixture of rain and hill snow through Tuesday night, 3 degrees by dawn Wednesday. Birmingham sits right on the boundary, rain transitions to sleet over higher ground overnight, 5 degrees Wednesday afternoon. Glasgow, western areas stay drier with some brightness, but eastern Scotland continues with snow showers blown in on that brisk easterly, 2 degrees, feeling much colder in the wind. Cardiff sees the rain edging northwards through today, turning drier Wednesday with temperatures reaching 7 degrees. Belfast, relatively dry compared to recent days, but that one to last, 4 degrees with increasing cloud Wednesday. Now, here's what's driving this rather unusual setup. We've got a southerly tracking jet stream that's been dominating our weather for the past week. This is keeping Atlantic low-pressure systems on a conveyor belt track straight across southern Britain. Normally, in early February, we'd expect the jet to be further north, allowing high pressure to build from Scandinavia. Instead, that Scandinavian high is stuck in place, creating an easterly flow across Scotland, whilst the south remains under the influence of these persistent lows. The Met Office has yellow warnings in place for southwest England, South Wales, and parts of the Midlands. Not because the rain is particularly intense, but because the ground simply cannot absorb any more water. We're talking about 50 to 70 millimetres already fallen across Devon and Cornwall in the past 48 hours, with another 20 to 30 millimetres expected through today. When you combine saturated soil with ongoing precipitation, you get surface water flooding, drainage systems overwhelmed, and hazardous driving conditions. Let me walk you through what's happening region by region, and I'll explain why the forecast becomes considerably more uncertain from Thursday onwards. This uncertainty matters, and I'll show you exactly why in about 4 minutes. Across the southwest, Exeter, waking up to heavy rain, 8 degrees, but feeling raw in that persistent drizzle. Plymouth, as I mentioned, surprisingly cold at 2 degrees with rain gradually easing through the afternoon. Pennines on the far southwestern tip, you might actually see some brighter spells developing later today as that rain clears eastward, temperatures recovering to 9 degrees. Bristol, rain moving in through mid-morning, persisting into the afternoon, 6 degrees. Southampton, wet morning commute, rain reaching you around 8 o'clock, clearing by Wednesday morning, 7 degrees. Moving into South Wales, Cardiff we've covered, but Swansea, you are looking at persistent rain through today, heaviest mid-afternoon, then a gradual improvement overnight, 6 degrees. Bangor in North Wales, you stay drier longer, rain not reaching you until this evening, 5 degrees. The Midlands presents an interesting situation. Nottingham rain arrives late morning, but here's where it gets complicated. Temperatures hovering around 3 to 4 degrees mean we could see some sleet mixing in over higher ground to the west. Leicester, similar story, rain through the afternoon, 4 degrees. Birmingham, we've mentioned. Coventry, expect rain from late morning through to early Wednesday. Temperatures just above freezing overnight means wet roads, but probably not icy, though that is not guaranteed. Eastern England, this is where you've been relatively fortunate compared to the west. Cambridge, cloudy with some drizzle possible, but nothing like the rainfall totals elsewhere, 6 degrees. Norwich, that easterly breeze brings cloud and a few light showers, 5 degrees, feeling colder in the wind. Lincoln, mostly cloudy, staying largely dry, 4 degrees. Now, for those of you in northern England, this is where the forecast becomes particularly messy over the next 36 hours. Leeds, rain pushing northward this evening, turning to sleet and snow over the Pennines overnight. 3 degrees in the city, but sub-zero over higher ground. Sheffield, similar situation. Rain transitions to sleet, then snow on the hills through tonight. Some snow possibly reaching lower levels by dawn Wednesday, 2 degrees. York, rain this evening, some sleet possible overnight, 4 degrees Wednesday. Liverpool, rain reaches you this afternoon, heaviest early evening, then gradually clearing overnight, 5 degrees. Manchester, we've covered your overnight snow risk over higher ground. The Pennines could see 5 to 10 centimetres, enough to cause some disruption on trans-Pennine routes. Newcastle, and this is rather unusual, you are actually staying drier than areas further south. That S because you are sheltered from the main rain band, but you are getting that cold easterly flow instead. 4 degrees, feeling like -1 in the wind. Blackpool on the west coast, blustery showers today, some heavy, 6 degrees. Lancaster, rain this afternoon, snow over the fells tonight, 3 degrees in town. Scotland presents a real split in fortunes. Edinburgh, eastern areas continue with snow showers. That easterly wind just keeps feeding them in. 2 degrees. Glasgow, western Scotland shielded from the worst. Some brightness developing, 4 degrees. Aberdeen, more snow showers, particularly through the morning, 2 degrees. Wind chill making it feel more like -3. Inverness, mixture of cloud and bright spells, 3 degrees. The Hebrides, relatively mild actually, 7 degrees with cloudy skies. Wait until you see what S coming for the Northern Isles. Orkney and Shetland, you are getting persistent snow showers through today and tomorrow, blown in on gale-force easterly winds at times. This is creating difficult conditions, temperatures around 1 degree, but feeling significantly colder, proper winter weather for you. Northern Ireland, Belfast, we've mentioned. Derry, mostly dry today, cloud increasing this evening, 5 degrees. Armagh, similar picture, dry start, cloud building, 4 degrees. Wales beyond what we've covered, Aberystwyth on the west coast. Rain heavy at times today. Clearing Wednesday, 7 degrees. Let me come back to the islands briefly. Isle of Wight, rain this morning, clearing this afternoon, 8 degrees. The Channel Islands, Jersey and Guernsey, you are seeing that rain clear offshore already, brightening up this afternoon, 10 degrees, mildest spot in the British Isles today. Right, here S where the forecast gets really interesting, and this is why I need you to check back tomorrow. The Met Office model and the European model are currently showing different scenarios for the end of this week and into the weekend. The Met Office suggests that after Wednesday's drier interlude across the south, we'll see another Atlantic low-pressure system approaching from the southwest Friday into Saturday. This would bring another round of wet weather, temperatures 6 to 9 degrees across most areas. However, the European model is hinting that cold air from the continent might make more progress westward than the Met Office model suggests. This 50 to 80 kilometre difference in the track of the low pressure might not sound significant, but it's the difference between rain for most and snow for some, particularly across central and southern England. Now, I should be more precise about what this uncertainty actually means. If the Met Office solution verifies, Friday brings rain northwards across England and Wales, heaviest in the west, temperatures 7 to 9 degrees. Scotland stays colder, with wintry showers continuing in the east, 2 to 4 degrees. Northern Ireland catches some rain later Friday, 6 degrees. If the European model is correct, that low pressure tracks slightly further south, allowing colder air to dig in further. In this scenario, what falls as rain in the southeast might start as snow across the Midlands, perhaps even reaching lower levels for a time before turning to rain. The difference matters enormously if you are in Birmingham, Nottingham, or Leicester. One scenario brings rain, the other brings potential snow disruption Friday morning. This model disagreement should become clearer over the next 24 hours. Tomorrow morning, S model runs will give us much better clarity. That is exactly why you need to come back tomorrow, because I'll have that updated information. There's one thing that concerns me most about the current setup. It's not the rain we re-getting today and tomorrow, significant though that is. It is the fact that this southerly tracking jet stream shows little sign of shifting northward. When we get stuck in these patterns, they can persist for weeks. The jet stream essentially gets locked into a configuration, and breaking out of it requires a significant atmospheric reorganization. Looking at the stratosphere, there is no major sudden stratospheric warming event on the horizon that might disrupt the pattern. The polar vortex remains relatively stable. What this means in practical terms is that the unsettled, often wet weather could continue through much of February. But, and this is important, within that overall pattern, we will get variations. Wednesday looks considerably drier and brighter for most areas. High pressure tries to nose in from the continent Thursday, giving another reasonable day, particularly across eastern areas. It airs from Friday onwards, where the uncertainty returns. Let me give you the weekend outlook as it currently stands, bearing in mind everything I've just said about model uncertainty. Saturday, another low-pressure system affects southern and western areas. Rain for southwest England, Wales spreading northeast. Northern and eastern Scotland probably staying drier. Temperatures 6 to 10 degrees, mildest in the southwest. Sunday, that system clears eastward, leaving a day of sunshine and showers for most. Those showers could be wintry over high ground in Scotland, possibly even in northern England. Temperatures 5 to 8 degrees. Actually, hang on, let me check that again. The latest model run suggests Sunday might be drier than I just indicated, with high pressure building more than previously thought. This is a perfect example of why the details matter and why the forecast changes. For those of you who commented with your locations, I am making note of them. Tomorrow's forecast will include specific mentions for the areas you have highlighted. I genuinely want to know which parts of the country you are in because it helps me tailor the information. Now, one location that could see something unexpected over the next few days is the Bristol Channel coast. The combination of persistent rain, spring tides later this week, and strong winds could create some impressive seas and potential for coastal flooding at high tide. This affects Weston-super-Mare, Burnham-on-Sea, areas of the Somerset coast. The Environment Agency will be monitoring this closely. Let me give you some practical implications of this forecast. For Tuesday, southwest England and South Wales allow extra time for your journey. Surface water on roads is extensive. Avoid flood-prone routes if possible. For those in the Midlands and Northern England, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning is when you need to be most careful, particularly on higher routes where sleet and snow are possible. Scotland, eastern areas. That persistent easterly bringing snow showers means difficult conditions continue, especially for Aberdeenshire, Angus, and the Northern Isles. Western Scotland, you're actually in the favoured spot. Make the most of any brightness. Wednesday offers a window. If you've got outdoor tasks that need doing, Wednesday afternoon across southern areas is your opportunity. It won't last long. Thursday, eastern England and eastern Scotland probably see the best of any sunshine. Western areas, cloud increasing again ahead of that next system Friday. Looking at temperatures, we are running close to average for early February. Average for London is around 7 degrees. We are at 6 to 8. Average for Edinburgh is 4 degrees. We re at 2 to 4 with that easterly wind. Manchester average 6 degrees. We re at 3 to 5. So slightly below average in the north and east, close to average in the south and west. Nothing exceptional either way, but that persistent cloud, wind and rain makes it feel rather grim. The compounding factor here is the lack of sunshine. When you re-stuck under low cloud for days on end with persistent drizzle or rain, it affects everything. Mood suffers, outdoor activities become difficult, and that feeling of never-ending greyness sets in. This is classic British winter anticyclonic gloom, except we don't even have the anticyclone. We've got the gloom with active weather systems. There is some hope on the horizon, though we are talking mid to late February. Some of the longer range models hint at a pattern change around the 15th to 20th of February. This would involve the jet stream finally shifting configuration, potentially allowing high pressure to build more substantially. But we're talking 2 to 3 weeks away, and long-range forecasts at that distance have significant uncertainty. I mention it not to give false hope, but to note that patterns do eventually change. They always do. For the immediate future, the next 5 days, here's what you need to remember. Tuesday, wet in the south and west, snow in eastern Scotland. Wednesday, drier interlude for most, grab it while you can. Thursday, reasonable day, especially in the east. Friday, uncertainty increases, but probably turning wet again from the southwest. Saturday, unsettled, rain for many. Sunday, possibly drier, still uncertain. The models will continue to evolve. Tomorrow morning S-runs will refine Friday S details. Wednesday morning S-runs will clarify the weekend. This is exactly why weather forecasting requires daily updates. The atmosphere is a chaotic system. Small changes now create significant differences 3 or 4 days ahead. If there is one thing to take away from this forecast, it is this. Wednesday is your dry day. Use it wisely. And the Friday situation needs watching closely, particularly if you are in the Midlands, because that rain versus snow scenario could go either way. Before I finish, let me recap briefly in natural terms. We've got rain clearing the south Wednesday, snow showers continuing in eastern Scotland, a messy mixture overnight Tuesday into Wednesday for the Pennines and Scottish borders. Wednesday and Thursday offer something drier before probably turning unsettled again Friday and Saturday. Temperatures generally close to average, feeling cold in that easterly wind across Scotland and northeast England. The jet stream pattern remains the controlling factor. Until that shifts, expect variations on the same theme, wet and windy interludes, separated by brief drier spells. Not desperately cold, not especially mild, just rather unsettled and grey. For tomorrow's forecast, I'll have updated model data, clearer ideas on Friday's snow risk, and personalised updates for the locations you've commented. I am genuinely interested in what you are seeing in your area, because ground truth matters enormously in weather forecasting. Official stations don't capture everything, local knowledge fills the gaps. Tomorrow's video will be available at the same time as today. I'll have specific updates on that Friday system, weekend refinements, and a look ahead to next week when another Atlantic system looks likely midweek. Thank you for watching. Drop your location in the comments, let me know what weather you are experiencing, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next update. Stay safe out there, especially on the roads today if you were in the south and west. Check back tomorrow because the Friday forecast could change significantly, and you need to know which